also be posted later. So, welcome to Horticulture Happy Hour. My name is Wayne Hobbs. I am the horticulture agent here at the University of Florida IFAS Extension Office in Clay County. My job as an extension agent is to take all the great information that comes from the research at the University of Florida and share it out with the public in different ways. So this is a little project of mine trying to get more horticulture information out in a new way, and also blending in one of my personal hobbies, which is mixology and finding cool ways to use stuff from my garden that that most people normally don't think about. So for today's lesson, we're going to take a look at mint. Mint is a really cool plant to grow in Florida. It is one that comes with some caveats, especially when it comes to how aggressive it can be. So let's go ahead and get into some information about mint. So first of all, we're going to talk about a few different mints today, but overall mint is one of those plants that really has a huge use in mixology, but then also can be part of your garden, especially your herb garden. I will get some hesitation about using it in a landscape. With mint, the thing is, they are all mints are from members of the family Lamaceae, which actually includes a lot more plants. So we may cover some more of those in future classes. But then we're going to mainly focus in on some of the more common garden mints that you do see. So with those, there's a few different ones to keep an eye out for. Peppermint, we all know that flavor and smell. There's spearmints. There's also some really cool ones. My personal favorite ones to use, I don't have with me today, is pineapple mint, where pineapple mint has more of a variegated color, which is unique, and the smell of it is actually more pineapple-y than it is like a true mint. There's also apple mints, chocolate mints, and all those usually are named that way because of the little bit of a difference in the smell, which can also change how they're used in dishes or in beverages. So with mint in beverages, normally what you're going to normally be seeing used is spearmints. So spearmints, especially the mojito mint, is one of the varieties that used a lot. Usually have a little bit of a larger leaf. It's a little more of a subdued flavor than the peppermint. And these are actually a variety of spearmint that's out in our hydroponics at our office that I've clipped off today. Most of these are. There's a couple more I'll talk about in a minute. So when you're using mint in beverages or anything like that, what you're really normally using them for is the oils. We want that minty flavor, but a lot of times we don't want it to taste like toothpaste. Personally, I don't eat a lot of things that are actually flavored like mint, but I do use it a lot in mixology. One way you can use it is as an ingredient. You can go ahead and just take full leaves. So once you wash it, because it is coming from your outside garden, you can pop some leaves off, muddle them within the bottom of a glass, and then add in whatever you'd like to that, whether it's seltzer water, ice, lime, other things. That can basically make a really nice drink, a nice mocktail, and add that kind of nice, refreshing summer flavor. With mint, though, you can also use it in different ways. One way I like to use it is actually add as an ingredient inside of syrups. This summer, we actually had fun with our 4-H kids at our botany camp, or mini master gardener camp, where we actually took mint leaves, went ahead and actually added them into simple syrup. So then you create like a 1-to-1 simple syrup, equal parts sugar and water. Actually, in fact, they would actually add a little bit of extra sugar to be a little bit thicker. We added in some mint leaves. After we got all the sugar to dissolve, that mint was allowed to steep inside that sugar, and we actually served them as a syrup for snow cones for the kids. So there's a lot of different ways to utilize that in syrups, infusions, all different ways. But one of my favorite ways to actually use mint is as a garnish. So with that, what you can do is you have big groupings of mint, and honestly, with a lot of people use it as a garnish, you never can have enough mint because it doesn't look too good if you have a drink like a mocktail that has only one little piece of mint. That looks kind of sad sitting in the glass by itself. I don't have anything in the glass tonight, but one little piece of mint doesn't look too good. But you get a large grouping of mint together, a little forest of mint. Try not to grab my other examples in here. It starts to look a little bit fuller. And actually, in some drinks, will use this as different for symbology. Some more tropical drinks will actually say that it looks like little palm trees, things like that. What you really want to do with the mint in a beverage as a garnish is it also adds a little bit of experience into the drink. So before you use it, what you want to do is take the mint and you actually want to agitate it. A lot of people will take it, smack it on the back of your hand. Some people will crush it a little bit. What that does, it releases more of those aromatic oils. And then when you actually utilize it in a drink, you place it in the glass and then usually use a shorter straw so that when someone takes a drink, their nose actually has to go into that mint. And what that does, it doesn't give you that super strong mint flavor within whatever you make the drink, but it does give that kind of it adds some of that flavor in through the sinuses. So it's a cool experience with that. And like I said, all those different flavors of mint I mentioned, pineapple mint, chocolate mint, apple mint, those different flavors can kind of be added lightly through that aroma in different ways. Now, I also like to look at things that are related to mint that are fun to use. So another one I've used is this one's actually flowering, which is lemon balm. So has a cute little flower on it. I don't know if it's going to focus in with me being in the center, but cute little flowers. And a lot of the mints do flower, so there are some that you can add into your landscape in your garden that is going to also be good for pollinators. That's a good segue into one of my favorite plants to use as a garnish when it is blooming, which is this spotted bee balm. So very cool alien looking flower. It actually is in the mint family. It's edible, safe to use, and you can actually use as a fun garnish. I mentioned before the other mints. Put a couple of these in there, and you get this kind of cool alien-looking, interested bloom. It does have multiple layers. We have the sepal sticking out, and then the main flower kind of balls out. And this is really good for bees. And so if you are planting mint, like I said, a lot of these members of this family are really good for pollinators. But one issue with some of the mints, especially your spearmints, peppermints, is they can be very aggressive. So if you are growing mint, one of our suggestions is not to put it directly in the ground because then it can take over. So grow in a container, grow in a raised bed, grow it hydroponically, but keep it contained so it can't take over your entire garden. Growing up on a farm in Delaware, we actually had spearmint that was growing through a lot of our front yard, and it took a long time to actually kill it out, and it made a nice ground cover until it actually got covered up by a weed called dodder that looked like yellow spaghetti over everything. But mint can be very aggressive. But if you are growing in Florida, some things that can become an issue. A lot of our mint outside in our gardens is actually starting to show a lot of these leaf spots. So even this better looking stuff I grabbed, you can see there's some brown leaf spots here. They do get some fungal diseases later in the season. One great idea is to make sure that you're not overwatering them. They can get damping off. And when you are using them, the thing with mint, definitely keep using it. Keep clipping it back. As you clip it out, it'll keep bushing out and it'll keep regrowing itself. So use it, which if you have a lot of it and it's taken over your garden, it can be a lot to use. So overall, that is kind of a quick coverage of mint, how it can be used in mixology to an extent, and then also how you can grow it in your garden. If you have any other questions about mint or anything gardening related, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm here at the University of Florida IFAS Extension Office in Clay County. Or you can reach out to your local extension office. We are in all 67 counties of Florida and ready to help. So thanks again for joining me for this second edition of this Horticulture Happy Hour webinar. We'll be back next week. We're actually be covering limes and starting to talk about citrus. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's webinar.